Hey everyone, my name is Erin and welcome to Everywhere on Earth with Erin Travel Channel. So today's video is going to be about my next place that I visit in Egypt called the Valley of the Kings and also the Karnak Temple Complex. So I decided when I was doing these videos that I didn't want to be super formal, and I felt I've been a little bit formal lately, so I thought maybe I would add some wine to this one, cheers to you all wherever you are. And just before I filmed this video, I actually had a different wine glass and I smashed it. So that's why we are graduated to plastic wine glasses instead of glass ones, because I already had to clean up broken glass and spilled wine on the floor, which is not cool. But anyways, let's continue talking about Egypt. So after we finish doing our hot air balloon ride and we visit Hatshepsut's temple, we get back on the bus and we go just around the corner to the Valley of the Kings. And this is one of the most famous archaeological sites in the entire world. Like, it's super, super cool. So the area was used by Egyptians as a burial site for their pharaohs and powerful nobles from the 18th to 20th dynasties, which would be between, like, say 1539 and 1077 BC, to kind of be exact. So far they have discovered just over 60 tombs, but there's probably more to be discovered. The tombs are cut really deep into the rock, and then there's long halls leading into these burial chambers. So it's actually really, really cool, of course. So basically, the tombs are beautifully decorated, and there's all kinds of paintings on the walls. A lot of them depict scenes from Egyptian mythology, which is really pretty. The tombs also contained a lot of treasures because the Egyptians believed that one needs these things to be buried with them so they can continue their existence in the afterlife. And then for this reason, a lot of the tombs were eventually looted and robbed. So some of the stuff has been stolen, some of the stuff was still there and recovered, and they exist in a lot of museums around the world. So when we get there, we jump on this like clunky little train thing. I don't know, it's not like a train, it's like, I don't know, some kind of tractor pulling these cars. Anyways, it takes us from the visitor center to the entrance of the tombs. So the ticket that we buy, it includes the price, the entrance includes 3 tombs, and then you can pick other ones to visit if you want to pay extra. So there's 3 right now when I went that you can pay extra, and they range in cost from like $10 up to $90. And of course, the $90 one belongs to King Tut. So that's a really popular one. As much as I'd love to see it, I decide to skip it this time and I pick a different one. So as usual, super, super, super hot today in Egypt. Even though we're going to be exploring underground, it's still really, really hot in the tombs as well. So first tomb that I'm going to explore is KV11. So the way that they're named, KV is like King's Valley, and then 11, so is the number of it. So it belongs to Ramses III. And this one's kind of interesting because it was originally built by Senakti, I think his name is. Again, terrible with my pronunciation. So it was being built, but then it broke into another tomb, so construction was abandoned, but then eventually it was restarted, and then they just extended it like the other way, because really, like, after all that work, why would you waste a good tomb? You wouldn't. So that's what happened there. So the decorations on these walls are just, they're amazing. And then I find out that a lot of it is funerary texts. And so this is reserved for pharaohs and nobles. And it's from like different sources like the Book of Amduat, Book of Gates, Book of the Dead, and Litany of Re, which I don't know much about these things, but they're very significant, and that's what's on the walls. And here's some pictures. I don't really know what is what, but obviously it just like looks really cool. So when you're getting out of the tomb, like when you're going in, it's great because you're going downhill, but then when you come back up, it's a bit of an uphill climb. So it can be a bit of a challenge, and it's not as fun when you're super hot and you're really sweaty, and some of these ramps are really steep. So anyways, next to my visit is KV9, and it belongs to Ramses V, but then it was later overtaken by his uncle Ramses VI. And this is the one that I paid the extra cost for. It cost like an extra $10. So again, the corridors are decorated with all the stuff from those books that I mentioned earlier. And then this is really cool. There's a portion of his sarcophagus that remains in there. It's kind of broken, as you see here, but it's really neat to see because that is the original sarcophagus apparently. So then I'm finished that one. So I climb back out and I go into KV8. Now this one is like deep, deep underground, which is 160 meters underground. So it's quite a trek down there. This one belongs to Marenta. Seriously. Anyways, but there's a set of, there's 4 nested sarcophagi, and the outer one was so big that it couldn't fit in the corridors, so they had to have the door jambs and pillars demolished and then rebuilt so that it would fit inside. So like, oops. Maybe you should have figured that out before, but anyways, cool. And so you can see the sarcophagus still remains here. So I realized like I don't have a lot of pictures of this tomb, and I don't know, I think it's because like a lot of the paintings in this one have been damaged by flooding, so they're maybe not as nice, but also like at risk of sounding spoiled, when you're visiting the tombs, the stuff is all very similar and the designs are similar, so it's maybe hard to distinguish. So I don't know, I kind of just stopped taking pictures and really just wanted to enjoy it and be really absorbed in the atmosphere. So getting out of this tomb, this was a tough climb. Like I had to do it in a few intervals. And I'm starting to lose steam here and I'm not feeling good. And I run into Libby and she's like not looking great either. So luckily I have some electrolyte powder in my bag and I give it to her. And so we pop it into our water and really it saves us. And we are saved from spending eternity in this tomb. So the last tomb on my list today is KV2, and that belongs to Ramses IV. So this one is a pretty big tomb, and of course there's a lot of drawings on the walls, but it's a little more simplistic than some of the other tombs that you'll see here in the Valley of the Kings, but this one's still worth a visit. And then what's cool is they actually found a lot of graffiti in these tombs over the years, like some Greek writing and whatever. So that's like an extra. I don't have any photos of that, but. And then the sarcophagus here, as you see, it's broken and the mummy has been relocated, which a lot of the mummies here have been taken out. So some of the sarcophagi have been removed. Some of them remain here. Most of the mummies are gone into museums for us to enjoy. Which I've seen some mummies in the Cairo Museum, which I'll talk about, and they're really creepy looking. So maybe we should just let them rest. I don't know. Guess that everyone has a different opinion about that. So anyway, so now that's the end of exploring Valley of the Kings, and we get back on a boat to go across the Nile River to go for lunch at African Restaurant. Here's a picture of us getting off the boat because we're super cool. So this is a really popular place to eat here in Luxor, and we're up on the rooftop patio. Service is great. Everyone's really happy. I feel like I have a little bit of heat stroke though because I'm feeling a bit dizzy and nauseous and I have like no appetite whatsoever. I order a shawarma. It's okay. I just kind of nibble at it, but luckily Ryan's sitting beside me, and so when he's there, no food goes to waste. So I'm like, dude, can you please just eat my food because I feel bad because I don't feel good. Anyways, now we're back on the bus and we head over to the Karnak Temple Complex. This is an extra stop today. We were supposed to go yesterday, but we ran out of time because we had a late start in the morning. So this is basically like the Vatican of Egypt. Like it's the largest temple in the country and it has 4 parts, but actually only 1 part is open to the public. And so the way that Karnak differs from the other temples is the length of time over which it was developed and used. So they estimate that over 30 pharaohs contributed to it. So it has a size, complexity, and diversity, and then a long range of deities represented, unlike any other temple complex in Egypt. So it's a really vast open site. We walk up to the first entrance, which is called a pylon, and there's this really cool corridor of sphinxes to lead us in. As you see, this pylon's pretty simple. It's actually unfinished and undecorated. Then we walk through what was this area called the kiosk of Taraka. There's only one, as you see here, complete column that remains from this kiosk. So that's interesting. And then just across here, this is a big statue of Ramses II, and then someone's leftover feet beside him. There's really like a lot of cool statues and stuff here, so I'll put up some more photos about that in a second. So now we're walking through the second pylon and we end up in the Hypatia Hall. So there's 146 columns and they're super, super tall, really wide. So you feel like really, really small in them. And of course the decoration on them is just gorgeous. This hall was started by Seti I and then was completed by Ramses II. And the decor you can see is like a bit of like raised decoration and some sunken decoration as well. So when you leave this hall, there's two massive obelisks here, and it belongs to Thutmose I and Hatshepsut. So the unfinished obelisk that exists in Aswan was supposed to be brought here to Karnak, but it never made it. So here's what those obelisks look like. And as I said, here's some more like pictures of really cool statues. So then I go off and I explore a little bit on my own. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at. I really should have had a better map to know exactly. Of course, when I'm doing my blog and my videos after, I do some more research, so I kind of have a better idea, but I wish I knew then. So then I come across, I wander around a little bit, and then here's this sacred lake. So this one was used mostly by the priests for their ritual washing and their, I don't know, prayers and stuff, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so I just continue to walk around, get lost in the atmosphere. It's so neat, again, as I've said, to just like wander around and imagine what it would have been like back then. Then we're back on the bus, 5-hour bus ride to get to our next destination. It was cool. We had a nap, we drank a couple beers on the bus, had a chit chat, had a lot of fun. And I gotta say again, like what an amazing group of people I am traveling with. So that's it. That is our last day exploring everything in and around Luxor and all the cool temples and tombs. So again, if you like my content, please subscribe to my channel. That would be amazing. And if you like to read, here you go. Check out my blog, everywhereonearthwitherin.com. For now, I'm gonna leave it at that and tell you guys cheers. Take care. See you soon.